One area that I think they could address in a big way, but it's probably not realistic, is at the catcher position.
Yeah.
They have those two young guys, but we had Greg Zahn on here, the Manalist, just a few weeks ago, and he was very disappointed in Danny Jansen and Reese McGuire's development, and he kind of blamed it on the staff.
Yeah. Danny did
Not
get
getting
two
it
home runs
done.
in their elimination game.
Timely hitting matters. Look at the Rays.
Yes.
Timely hitting matters.
Timely hitting
even if you're hitting under 200. But JT Real Muto is a huge free agent out there right now. Now, is he realistic? Probably not, because I think he's going to set a record for highest paid catcher of all time.
Yeah.
So let's move past that. One of the areas of concern potentially is third base with Travis Shaw. Do you bring a guy like him in? It seems like that's going to be a rotating door of Travis Shaws every year.
I know, right? And that's where the market's kind of dictating that, right? So does Vladdy get in shape and go back to third? What are some of the options that they maybe have to address that third base?
Because if Vladdy gets in shape and goes back to third, they can put Rowdy Tellez at first. They can go out. There's a few first basemen like an Anthony Rizzo, which probably isn't realistic. But maybe it's a guy you could bring in as a leadership kind of guy. Maybe he takes that type of deal in Toronto.
Sell a lot of jerseys.
Oh, yeah.
But
So anyways, let's get into the pitching, because right now, the way I look at it is they are going into this next season with the potential six-man rotation of Ryu, Shoemaker, Taijuan Walker, Chase. Now, they got to bring some of these guys back. Taijuan Walker, Chase Anderson, Robbie Ray, and Tanner Rourke. Plus, you have Nate Pearson floating around in there, who I still think should be the closer. Yeah. But we are going into a weird year for them where they kind of have six starters, but they have a chance to add. Now, this guy is maybe on a little bit unrealistic side, but Trevor Bauer is 30 years old, and he's kind of a weird dude. Like we were talking about it earlier. He kind of seems like a guy who strikes me as he might go to a smaller market team because he knows that they have a chance to win, and I don't think he cares about the spotlight. So he's an interesting guy. If they just give him a little bit more, a couple million extra bucks, bring him in, and he comes in as your 1-2 punch with Ryu, maybe that sets up your rotation as it is.
Yeah.
A guy I think is interesting, and you don't, is Marcus Strowman. The reunion of Marcus Strowman and the Jays.
I think those wounds are still just a little too fresh, my friend. I think
Probably. Yeah. But it'd be fun. Chris Archer is a guy we talked about. We agree is interesting for maybe like a 2-3 type of guy. Chris Archer, 32 years old. And then you look at their bullpen, and they struggled with their bullpen as well. And there's a few guys out there. Our boy, Brian Snow, our good friend from North Carolina, his favorite player on the Black Sox. It's been a long day. I needed some caffeine here. The White Sox
need some elk velvet is what you need.
Elk velvet. Alex Colome, as a closer potentially to kind of fill in for Ken Giles, who's going to be hurt.
Yep.
Maybe bring him in. He's 32. You bring him in for 2-3 years. He could kind of fill in and be that guy. Blake Trainin, who's with the Dodgers right now, probably going to pitch tonight.
Yep.
Is a stud who came off an injury, and he's kind of rebounded this year. He's 32 as well. Dylan Betances is a guy I've always loved. He used to be with the Yankees. Now he's with the Mets. Big, tall fireballer. He had an injury. He's kind of lost his velocity a little bit, but if he builds it back up, he's a dominant force in that late inning type of position. Maybe a guy like that. And then you like this guy, J.A. Happ, as a potential middle rotation starter guy.
I like the reunion there, and again, going from a leadership aspect, and again, internally, right? Do you go with guys that you're familiar with? And I honestly think Rafael Dolis might be the play just to stay internal. He's got I believe, a club option. If he stays within the organization, you got Ken Giles, who's out for arguably the entire season recovering from Tommy John.
And they've got a ton of young guys who could come in and fill those roles. Maybe. But I just don't know if they're all quite there yet.
Yeah, I'd love to see a guy like Sean Reed
really
finally emerge too.